Hi, I'm Emily, and this is my co-host Bumble. You're watching episode 15 of Holding the Sticks, a hockey-themed fiber arts podcast. Hi everyone, and welcome to my craft room here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. It is a very snowy Monday here. It is March 25th, 2013, and I'm not real happy to see the snow. It's funny because I wanted snow for so long during when it was supposed to be winter, and now that it's spring, I'm not so happy to see the snow. Go figure. I guess I'm just never happy, am I? Um, Welcome, like I said, my name is Emily. You can find me on Ravelry as Shanti Dragon and on Plurk and Twitter as Emily3022. I have a little co-host today. Her name is Bumble. Yeah, she knows her name. You see the little ear perk. She's not feeling too well today, so I thought I would keep her in here with me just to make sure if she needs anything, she can let me know. She has her ways of letting me know, let me tell you. Yeah, I had a little mess to clean up when I got out of bed this morning, and it is because she's not feeling too good. I think possibly she ate something that didn't agree with her last night, so we'll just keep her in here with us. She's a good girl. As always, I want to thank all of my viewers, new viewers for checking me out, and returning viewers for coming back. I always like to thank those who are communicating with me on social media, Plurk and Twitter, and also those of you who are participating in the Ravelry group. Y'all make what I do a lot more fun than it otherwise would be. I also want to thank someone who won't be named at this point because she didn't give me permission. Somebody sent me a very nice gift from my mom. It was a hat, and I hope that maybe next week I'll be able to show you that hat and tell you who sent it. But until I hear back from her, I won't say. But it's a beautiful, fuzzy, warm hat with a little cable brim. Very pretty. Thank you so much. The kindness of knitters is just amazing. I know we see it again and again in our little community here. So thank you again. A little bit of administrative stuff this morning. I won't have any intermissions today. I'm going to try and keep this a little bit shorter. I know I say that every week. I'm really going to try hard for it this week. I watched the last episode back and felt like I rambled an awful lot. So let's see if we can shorten it up a little bit this week. I believe that's it for introductions. So let's get into the first period in the zone. First period in the zone, there's not a whole lot of developing play going on. I still haven't got my groove back from coming back from vacation, but I have been working on a couple of things. On my needles right now, I have been working on Mork, which will look like this when it's finished. This is a sweater by Julia Farwell Clay, and I've been working on it for several months now. I am knitting it with Barocco Ultra Alpaca in the Redwood Mix colorway. That is number 6281, using a US size 6 4.0 millimeter needle. And I finished one sleeve. Well, here's the sleeve I finished, and this is actually showing the color pretty close to true. See, there's the top of it, the sleeve tab, I think it is. These will be set-in sleeves. And then I love this little cable detail at the cuff. I think that's just going to be so pretty. I'm hoping I got these the right length. The only problem when you knit a sweater that's sewn together in the end is that sometimes it's hard to tell if your sleeve length is correct. So that's the sleeve I finished. I'm working on the second sleeve right now, But first I will show you the body of the sweater, which has been finished for a couple of weeks now. So here is the front with its little V-neck, and it just has a raw edge at the bottom. I really like that. And then the back also has that cable detail there. I'm going to have a lot of ends to weave in. I'm sure you see all this mess. I probably should have done either a Russian join or a felted splice, but wasn't sure how the alpaca would react to that, so I didn't wind up doing it. And here is the sleeve I am currently working on. Just started, I'm about a little more than halfway through that cable detail at the cuff. There's a couple more of my little stitch markers if y'all are interested in seeing those. I might have to get back into making these again. I really enjoyed it when I used to do that. So there is the sleeve that I'm working on. And when I finish that sleeve, all that will be left will be to sew it all together, or seam it all together. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm pretty sure that by the time I get it all together, it's going to be too warm to wear it, but that is just the life of a knitter, isn't it? The other thing that I have on my needles, I spoke to Mom earlier this week, and she needed 2 or 3 more hats, so I started a new one, and I'm not sure it's going to work for her, but I had this yarn, and it seemed perfect and soft, and then I started knitting it up, and I'm not sure, number one, that it's going to fit her, and number two, if it's going to be as soft knitted as it was in the skein. I am knitting, oops, well, let me get the whole thing here. I am knitting the Sock Yarn Slouchy Hat by Sandra Bickelmeyer. Here is what the Sock Yarn Slouch Hat will look like when it's done. And I'm using some hand spun of mine from quite a while ago. This is one of the very first hand spun yarns that I did from a Knitty and Color bat that I purchased probably 3 years ago at SAF. That's the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair. And I wish I could have shown it to you in the skein, but here's the ball of yarn. The colorway was called Grapes of Wrath. Let's bring it back here, maybe it'll be a little more true to color. It's all shades of purple into black and then some hot pink through there, which I love. Here's what I have of the hat so far. It's curling pretty badly. That's a twisted rib on the bottom. I kind of wish I had just gone with a regular 1x1 rib. I think it would have been a little bit looser and smoother. But I think after I block it, maybe it'll be better. We'll have to see. And then it goes into just a stockinette for the body. So I'm using a size 1.5 US. I don't know the millimeters on that. I apologize. And hopefully I'll get that done pretty quick and can cast on another hat that I know will fit and do what Mom needs it to do. I've got this in my yarn bowl, just a little yarn bowl. I'm not using the little holes on the side because I like to be able to grab it and go, especially a smaller project like this. But this was made by my friend Eric, the same one who commissioned the artwork that's above my head here. I showed that a couple of episodes ago. But it's one of those very precious things because it was a handmade gift from a friend. So I love to be able to use that. And that is all I have on the needles right now. I don't have any She Shoots, She Scores. I haven't been spinning at all, and I probably won't get to spin much this coming week either, but we will see. I do have a little bit of an equipment room segment today, though. I received some yarn that I ordered from Hippie Penguin, and this is so exciting, you guys. I ordered this and it came really fast. It was here within 2 or 3 days, I think. This is a Hippie Penguin 100% superwash merino wool. It's 400 yards or 100 grams. Here we go. It's showing up pretty true. Hopefully that'll focus here in a moment. There we go. All right, that's a pretty good representation of the colors. It has red and kind of a true green. It's got some navy blue and some beautiful purple and little pops of the lighter colors. There's not any true white in here, but sort of fades out of each color into a pop of almost white, which I actually, some people don't like that in their yarns, but I actually love it. And that's very close to true color showing on my monitor at least. And the exciting thing about this yarn is that the colorway is called Holding the Sticks. Hillary dyed this up. That's Hippie Penguin. She dyed this up from inspiration from the podcast. So that's really exciting. You can pre-order this. If you would like your very own skein of Holding the Sticks yarn, you can pre-order it. Here is Hillary's card. See if I can get that so you can see it. I'll link it in the show notes as well. www.hippiepenguin, all one word, .com. Her shop is at hippiepenguinfibers.etsy.com. I have spun some of her fiber up before too when I got one of the fat fiber sample boxes. It's been probably a year or two ago, and I remember I was just beginning to spin at that point, and I remember how easy her fiber was to spin. So super excited to try her yarn. I'm not sure what I'm going to make with this. Maybe a shawl. But yeah, if you like this colorway, you can pre-order it now at Hillary's Etsy shop. That's it for the first period. Let's get into the second period and a little bit of training room action. Before we get into the training room, I forgot to give a little overview of our current knit along on the Ravelry group. The Holding the Sticks Ravelry group, I am hosting a March Mad Hatter Knit Along or Crochet Along. You can knit or crochet any hat during the month of March. Make sure your pictures are posted of your finished object by the end of the month, and I will draw a winner. I've got 3 different prizes to choose from for the winner. I'm not going to show those this week, but I will make sure to post them on the thread just so you have that reference. There are 2 choices of stitch markers, or you can choose to receive any Ravelry gifted pattern, Ravelry giftable pattern, $5 or less. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that. But I'll post pictures of the stitch markers in the thread on the group so that you can see them. And like I said, I will draw early in April, probably April 1st. And on the next podcast, I will announce the winner, and they'll get to choose from those 3 prizes. If you donate your hat to charity, you get a second entry, but you need to put a second post in the thread on the group. Otherwise, I won't be able to count the second post. So if you donate your hat to charity, you would post one post with the picture of your project and then a second post saying where your hat was donated to. So make sure you do that if you have donated your hat, and I look forward to doing that drawing very soon. Come on into the training room with me for some second period action. I have had a pretty good fitness week. I didn't show my chart last week, so let me do that now. If you remember, I am charting my mileage as I do a virtual walk to Rivendell from Hobbiton. I'm using aowenschallenge.net for that. Here is what my chart looks like currently. Whoop. Sure, I'll show you. There we go. That's probably good. So I'm moving right along there. Pretty much I started coloring in each mile that I completed at the beginning of the month. So I am at 37 miles for the month of March so far. I think that's pretty good. I actually did 4 miles yesterday because I just felt like getting on the bike a second time. Did my first and harder workout in the morning yesterday, and then I got on the bike again in the evening. And part of that is while I'm on the bike, I have been reading. So I got real involved with the book. I didn't want to stop exercising because when I stop exercising, I have to put the book away. So that's pretty good motivation there for me. I can't read the book unless I'm on the bike. So I just have a little music stand that I use. I put the book on the music stand so it's hands-free and I can still ride pretty hard on the stationary bike. The weather has not been cooperative for me to be able to run, so probably next week I will start over again with Couch to 5K because I have to be so careful. Starting up something or restarting something, I have to do it very slowly so that I don't have the extreme soreness that can happen with exercise sometimes because that makes it very hard for me to do my work. So that is it for my fitness journey right now. Just a little update with my blood pressure. I am completely off of the diuretic that I was taking for my blood pressure. With the doctor's blessing, I did this. So far, my blood pressure is holding into the healthy range, so I'm thrilled about that. What is not so thrilling is coming off of the diuretic means I gained a few pounds. I'm sure this is partially coming off the diuretic and partially being on vacation last week and eating everything I wanted. Well, not everything I wanted, but eating a lot of stuff. I gained 5 pounds over the last 2 weeks, but I am confident that those will come back off again as I get back into my day-to-day routine. So I wanted to talk for my little tip today about the importance of shoes. When I first started running, I went to the Cool Runnings website that I have shared in the past, and I will try to remember to put that in my show notes just so you have access to it. They have the training plan for Couch to 5K on that website as well. So I read through, I'm pretty sure I read on their website that when you first start running, you don't have to worry too much about your shoes because you're not running long distances. And so when I first started running, I was wearing some, excuse me, some, okay quality. I think they were Dr. Scholl's that I bought at Walmart. They were not running shoes, they were just, athletic shoes. And some of you who have followed my journey know that when I started about 2 or 3 weeks into my first round of training for Couch to 5K, I developed bursitis in my knees and had to take several weeks off. When I went back to start training again after that time off, when my knees were feeling better, I made sure to get a real pair of running shoes. As to how to pick out a pair of running shoes, the way I did it was I went to the local sporting goods store here in Boone, and I tried on all of the running shoes in my price range and just picked out the ones that felt best on my foot. I wound up with the Brooks Pure Flow shoes and told myself that after I ran my first 5K, I would go to the real running store down in Hickory, North Carolina. It's called Fleet Feet, and have them measure my gait and my stride and my feet and get their recommendation for the shoe that I should be wearing. The shoe made all the difference when I switched to a true running shoe. The knee problems I had did not reoccur, and I could tell as I trained for the 5K. I did my first 5K in October. Shortly after that, I started to have some, not the same kind of knee pain, but my knees and my hips started to hurt a little bit. So I knew it was time for a new pair of shoes. It was a little disheartening because, for me to spend $90 on a pair of shoes, and that's kind of low on the range for running shoes. But I had spent $90 on these shoes and they only lasted 4 months, for running anyway. But, I had finished the 5K, so I went down to Hickory and they measured me and looked at my gait and everything. And if you don't know, gait is the way you walk. That's just the technical term for how you walk. But they measured all of that, and they recommended that I get the Brooks Pure Flow shoes. So apparently, I chose the right shoe myself. So I got another pair of those. The ones that I wore to start my training, I still have, and I can wear them to walk in or work in. I just can't do the hard pounding that running does in those anymore. So I run in the new ones and walk in the old ones. Anyway, um, likewise, I am on my feet at work all day, so I have to make sure to have good shoes to work in. Now, if you think about it, your feet are kind of the base of everything. If your feet aren't happy, it's going to set your legs off kilter, which is going to set your pelvis off center, and then it's going to set your spine all akimbo, and it can just really mess up your whole body. So, if you're on your feet a lot, it's so important to have good quality shoes. I have found for walking or even for working that if I buy cheap shoes, I have to replace them far more often. If I go to Walmart and purchase either the Danskin or the Dr. Scholl's, those will last me about 3 months um, if I buy work shoes there. If I go to Belk or a department store and I buy Merrell's or Clark's, those will last me usually 6 months to a year, sometimes even more. So I tend to save up my money and go and get the good shoes because I hate to throw shoes away. They're big and bulky, and I feel like I'm killing the environment whenever I throw a pair away. So that's just my opinion. You can get by with cheap shoes, but really in the long run, I think you'll wind up spending the same amount on cheap shoes um, if you replace them as you should, as you will spend on the higher quality shoes that will last longer. Um, like I said, the shoes that I like best are Merrell's. I have one pair of Clark's. I'm not sure I'm going to buy another pair of Clark's. They've lasted okay, but I'm starting to feel a little bit of knee pain, and I've only had them maybe 3 or 4 months, so we'll see. It might just be fatigue from my vacation or whatever, but um, yeah, I'll try and wear those a little longer, see what happens. And I've heard Keens are very good. Danskos are really good. Um, there's a lot of great brands out there, but every foot is different. So make sure you go try on um, several brands of shoes and find the one that fits your foot the best. Because I know New Balance sneakers, for example, I have friends who swear by them and love them, and they never ever fit my feet right. So it's very individual. So that is my little soapbox about the importance of shoes. Let's get into some third period hockey talk, shall we? Time to drop the puck for the third period and a little bit of hockey talk. Bumble here is not a big hockey fan. She gets very concerned when I and my husband are yelling at the television. But maybe she'll tolerate a little bit of hockey talk here in the third period. You think so, Bumble? She says, I don't feel good, Mama. Well, we will start with Hockey 101. And remember the last regular episode that I did, we talked about player safety and safety equipment. You okay, Pop? The sound of the word hockey has got her shivering. Poor thing. No, she's really just not feeling very good. Anyway, last time that I did hockey talk, we talked about player safety equipment, and I had a little update for that. If you'll remember, Mark Stahl took a slap shot to the eye, and it brought up the issue of players wearing the half shields or visors. And I am happy to report that all three of the Stahl brothers who play in the NHL have decided to wear visors from here on out. Really happy about that. Eric Stahl is the captain of the Hurricanes, and Jordan also plays on the Hurricanes. Mark, obviously, he plays for the Rangers. When he had that injury, he was defending the Rangers' goal. They have a fourth brother, Jared, who plays for the Charlotte Checkers. So he's required to wear his visor because he plays for the AHL team. She's not very excited about hockey talk, can you tell? Anyway, so I was thrilled to hear that. Mark hasn't returned to playing yet, but he has stated that when he does, he will wear a visor. And the other two NHL stalls are, they haven't played a game yet with them, but they have reported to practice a couple of times now with the half shields. So yay! I'm so glad that they have come to their senses. Let's get into our usual Hockey 101 segment, where we will talk about minor penalties. I'll continue on with those minor penalties that I have been talking about. I've got 3 today, and they are elbowing, goalkeeper interference, and high sticking. These are all 3 ones that you hear on a regular basis if you watch NHL hockey. Elbowing is just what it sounds like. You are not permitted to elbow somebody, use your elbow to hit anybody. If you do, that's a minor penalty. If you injure the person by doing that, you may get a misconduct, fines, a major penalty, obviously, or even a suspension. So, goalkeeper interference is something that happens pretty often. Um, goalkeeper interference is when a player impairs the goalie's ability to do his job, basically. You are not allowed to contact the goalie to keep him from getting to the puck. Intentional contact, any kind of intentional contact in the crease or outside the crease will count toward this. If the goalie is outside the crease, there's a little more leniency toward being able to contact him. If it's intentional, if they think it's intentional, they can always call the penalty, though. Usually, if contact occurs outside the crease and it looks like you've tried to avoid the contact, then they won't call the penalty. But they're very protective of the goalies, and I believe this rule goes for the AHL and in the NHL because they can't move quickly with all that gear on, all those pads and things, so they need a little extra protection. Plus, they've got pucks flying at their faces at high speeds, so that is goalkeeper interference. High sticking, I'm sure most of you have heard of this one. High sticking is contact with the stick above the shoulder. So if you smack someone in the face with your hockey stick, whether it is intentional or not, that will be called as a high sticking penalty. If you injure the player, then it's a double minor. That means you serve 2 minor penalties back to back, 4 minutes. Usually injury means that you're bleeding, so they will often check for blood after a high sticking call. You also cannot bat the puck into the goal with a high stick. So if your stick is above the level of the goal, the top goal post, the crossbar, then the goal won't count if it goes in. I've seen guys basically baseball bat with their stick a puck in. If it's low enough, it'll count, but if it's above that crossbar, then it won't. So those are the 3 penalties for today. And get into a little bit of Hurricanes and Checkers talk. There's not a whole lot to say this week. Hurricanes are not doing so well. We lost another goalie last week. As you all know from previous episodes, our starting goalie, Cam Ward, has been out for a couple of weeks already with a knee sprain. And our backup goalie, Dan Ellis, was doing a lovely job, as was Justin Peters. But Dan Ellis had a little bit of an accident during a game recently. He went and made one of those sprawling saves on his belly, and as he went forward, his left skate, I believe it was, nicked his right leg. So he cut himself and now has 17 stitches, and that barely missed his MCL, but it did not cut his MCL, thank goodness. He is due to be out. He's been out about a week now. They said 1 to 2 weeks, right after the injury, so hopefully he'll be back soon. We're not sure what's going to happen on the goalie front because if we have our 2 top goalies out, Justin Peters will be our starter in Raleigh, and it looks like they may call up John Muse, who has been the Checkers starting goalie. And that's a little scary. John Muse is still definitely developing. He needs some more time at the AHL level to really get his game on. I think he has the potential to be very good, but as I've said before, right now it seems he either is so good that he gets a shutout or it's just a complete, we lose, 7-3 or something like that. So he needs a little more work really before he gets an NHL start, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully Dan Ellis will recover sooner rather than later. As far as the Checkers go, Rob Mador, our backup goalie for the Checkers, made his first AHL start and did a wonderful job night before last. I actually got to watch that game. I wasn't there live, but I paid for um, the online viewing that the AHL offers. It's not the best quality. It was very pixelated, but but I watched it and it was really cool to see him come out like that and do so well on his first NHL start. We won the game 4-2, and that was a much needed win for the Checkers. So we will see what happens. At this point, neither one of my teams is guaranteed a playoff spot at this point, as far as I know, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. That's about it for the hockey talk this week. Let's get into some post-game chatter. Alright, let's get into a little bit of chitter chat here. Quick mom update. I know many of you have been asking me how she's doing. Got some very good news in the past week in that her tumor is shrinking, noticeably so. She can feel the difference, which is really, really great news. Her blood cell count was down early in the week, but it has come back up, so that's a wonderful thing. And she has lost her hair now. I've heard many people say that during chemo it happens slowly, a little bit at a time, but Mom's fell out all in 2 days. So it was a good thing I got those hats to her. She said she had just a few little wisps left, and she said she felt like she looked like Captain Hook without his wig, or Gollum. I'm sure it didn't look that bad. She's too pretty to look like Gollum or Captain Hook. But she went and had the rest of it shaved, those last few little wisps, and she said it felt so much better after she did that. So that is the mom update. I'm going to go be with her Saturday night through Monday. I'm going to go down there, which is always a little nerve-wracking for me because I don't drive long distances very often by myself, but I will, I'm sure it'll be fine. I've done it before. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm so looking forward to seeing my mom. It's been way too long, and I will help her through the rougher days of her chemo cycle. She's having her next treatment on Wednesday. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. You know how it is when you get back from vacation, you go back to work, and it kind of drags the first week or so. It's kind of hard to get back into the swing of things, but I have managed to do so. I had a pretty good week at work. Saw lots of my regular clients, which is always nice, and saw some new clients as well. So hopefully this coming week I will do some more knitting, since I didn't do too much of that in the past week. I have been reading, like I said, while I've been on my stationary bike. I decided to pick up the Harry Potter series of books again. I haven't read them in several years, so I started with book 1 and cycled my way through that one, and I'm working on book 2, where they talk about the Chamber of Secrets, and I am maybe almost halfway through that one at this point. So I'm cycling my way through that. I'm such a geek. I'm reading Harry Potter and riding my bike to Rivendell. Go figure. And, of course I would rather be out on the road running, but since it is rather snowy outside, I am not. I'm hoping that this snowfall will melt quickly because I am ready for some warmer temperatures. I would be so happy if spring and fall lasted longer. I enjoy winter. I would love it more if it would snow more in December and January, and maybe a little bit of February, but once we get into March, I'm ready for the warmer temperatures and being able to run outside again. And then fall, I love fall. I'm not a big fan of the heat of summer, which is one of the reasons I love living in the mountains so much. It doesn't get quite so hot up here. And yeah, so, but what can you do about the weather? You really can't do anything. So I will just enjoy it for what it is and watch the snow fall for the rest of the day and enjoy a nice hot cup of tea. And I hope that you all will do the same wherever you are. With that, until next time, may all of your favorite hockey teams and all of your fiber arts projects stay out of the penalty box. Bye-bye.